Welcome to Cost Atlas, the hidden cost of everything. Today, who actually pays for the Super Bowl? Every few years, cities go to war with each other for the right to host the Super Bowl. They treat it like winning a prize. Here's the strange part: the city doesn't really win anything. It signs up to throw the most expensive party on the planet, and then it's told it isn't even allowed to sell a hot dog outside its own stadium. So, who actually pays for the Super Bowl? Not the answer you think. You've heard the pitch. Hosting the Super Bowl is supposed to be a gold mine. The host committee puts out a number. For the most recent game, around $1.25 billion of economic impact. Hotels full, restaurants packed. The whole country watching your city for a week. On top of that, everyone knows the famous cost inside the broadcast. A 30-second ad now runs over $7 million. Money everywhere. So the story writes itself. The NFL brings the party, and the lucky city cashes in. Case closed. Except almost none of that is what it looks like. Because before a city is allowed to host, it has to sign something. And what's in that contract flips the whole story upside down. To win the bid, a city has to promise the league a very specific list and provide most of it for free. Leaked bid documents lay it out. The stadium handed over at no cost. 35,000 parking spaces. More than 1,000 hotel rooms with free Wi-Fi and meeting space. Luxury suites, golf courses, rental cars, and one of the biggest, a full exemption from sales tax on tickets, parking, and merchandise. So the league collects, and the city's usual cut simply doesn't happen. Natural pause, Lee-400. Then there's security. Locking down a Super Bowl is an enormous operation, and the bid terms specify it comes no cost to the NFL. That bill lands on the public. So before kickoff, the host city has already given away the building, the parking, the rooms, the tax revenue, and footed the security tab. The party hasn't even started, and the city is deep in the red. And you can see exactly where that value gets redirected. Around the stadium, the host has to enforce what's called a clean zone, an area up to a 1-mile radius where local businesses can't sell or advertise without the league's permission. The official sponsors get the crowd to themselves. Before Super Bowl 50, a vendor who'd worked the same spot for 12 years was shut out by that zone. It's a small, vivid example of a much bigger machine. The money the biggest crowd of the year would have spent with local businesses is funneled, by design, toward the event's sponsors instead. It's not personal, and it's not a scandal. It's how the deal is built. But multiply that one card across a whole city for a week, and you start to see the real shape of what's happening. Not a windfall arriving, but value quietly flowing out. So what about that billion-dollar windfall? Economists who actually study this have a blunt answer. Most of it never reaches the city. The real net benefit to a host is estimated at somewhere around $50 to $150 million, a fraction of the headline. Why? Something called crowding out. The Super Bowl doesn't add 1 million new visitors on top of normal life. It replaces the tourists, conventions, and travelers who would have come anyway, and who now stay away from the chaos. The host books up in February regardless. The game just swaps one crowd for another, louder, more expensive one. And that is the real story. Line up what the city was promised against what it actually captures, and the gap is staggering. Value on the scale of $1 billion flows through the host. The stadium, the parking, the tax, the spending, the global attention. But only a sliver of it stays. The rest flows outward to the league, the sponsors, the broadcasters. A mega event isn't a prize a city wins. It's one of the largest transfers of value most people never realize is happening. Promised a fortune, the host is left holding a fraction. And here's why this matters beyond one game. This isn't really about a single league or one Sunday in February. It's the hidden mechanism behind almost every mega event on Earth. The host is promised prestige and a payday. It provides the venues, the security, the tax breaks, the streets, and most of the value those events generate is captured by someone else. The Super Bowl is simply the clearest, richest example of a pattern that repeats from the Olympics to the World Cup. That's the hidden cost of the Super Bowl. Not a scandal, a transfer. Enormous, deliberate, and almost invisible from the stands. So the next time a city celebrates winning the Super Bowl, remember what winning really means. The party is real. The billion-dollar windfall mostly isn't. The city pays for the party and keeps a sliver of what it was promised, while the rest quietly flows somewhere else. Look closer and the value is moving in a direction almost nobody in the stands ever sees. That's the whole game here at Cost Atlas. The number you're shown is almost never the one that's actually changing hands. That was the hidden cost of the Super Bowl. The host city is promised $1.25 billion in economic impact. What it actually keeps 50 to 150 million. The rest flows outward, to the league, to the sponsor.